Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. That is to Jagat Guru Sri Prabhupada, and now glory to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna, Ganga Prasad Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Dandawa Pranam, Sahade Swami, Hare Krishna.
Thank you for being here, as always.
I should be thanking all of you, the organizers. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, today we are very blessed. We've been discussing about Ganga, and today we have Ganga in person. Ganga Prasad himself is here today. So he will be taking us into the sweet waters of SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM today. So we humbly urge devotees to pay very close attention. And at the end, if there is still some time, there may be room for questions or comments. I looked over the text today, and I'm very eager to see how you're going to speak today, because I'm going to learn from you, definitely, because of the nature of the text. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. And without further ado, I'll put the verse on the screen and then you take it over.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Om Gyan Timirandaksya Janang Salakaya Chakshuro Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanyam Nanobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Simati Radhanath Swami Iti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Simati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhambitamsya E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanambayo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shiva Sadishi Gora Bhakta Vindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. I welcome every one of you, and though late, but better late than never, wish you a Krishna conscious, prosperous, and happy new year. And welcome to this session of SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, which is the means of conquest. And we'll be reading from the last chapter, chapter 18 of the first canto, which is titled The Appearance of Sukadev Goswami, build up to the arrival of Sukadev Goswami. And we'll be reading texts 9 and 10, like a combo, like Sahadev Prabhu said. It's a combo text. And we'll do what we are guided to do. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narautamam Devin Saraswatim Vyasa Tatudaya Mudirayat Nasta Priya Swabradesu Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Nastikihi. The text sloka will read all, otherwise we'll read only the last portion, but I prefer to read all because in the transliteration Prabhupada just took Atri to Narada. So Atri Vasista Chavana Sradavan Aristanemi Brigu Angirascha Parasaroga Disutva Taramam Uttatya Indra Pramadedma Vahu Medatiti Devala Atiseno Varadvajogo Tamapi Palada Aitreya Ova Kavasa Kumbayoni Daipa Yano Bhagavana Radascha Atri Vasista Chavana Sadavyam Arista Mema Vigu Angirascha Parasaroga Disuto Ataramam Uttatya Indra Pramade Damavaho Medatiti Devalati Seno Radwa Jogota Mapipalada Maitreya Uva Kavasa Kumbayoni Raipa Yano Bhagavana Radasyam Atri Vasista Shavana Sadavyan Aristanemi Brigu Angirasyam Parasaroga Disuto Tatramam Uttatya Indra Pramade Damavu Medatiti Devalati Sedeno Varadvajoko Tamapi Palada Maitreya Urva Kavasa Kumbayoni Daipa Yano Bhagavana Radhascham. In subsequent texts and in previous texts and chapters, Prabhupada will do transliteration word for word. So Prabhupada have established a protocol here, and he just did a straight one, Atri to Narada. This is not even in Sanskrit, it's in English. Atri to Narada. All of the different saintly personalities who arrived there from different parts of the universe. This is precise. Prabhupada just sum up all these names, precision, and then the translation. From different parts of the universe, there arrived great sages like Atri, Chavana, Saradwan, Atista Nemi, Brigu, Vasista, Parasara, Vishwamrita, Angira, Parasurama, Uttatya, Indra Pramada, Idmavahu, Medatiti, Devala, Atisena, Bharadwaj, Gotama, Pipalada, Maitreya, Uva, Kavasa, Kumbayoni, Dwaipayan, and the great personality, Narada. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Shavana, a great sage and one of the sons of Bhrigu Muni. He was born prematurely when his pregnant mother was kidnapped. Chavana is one of the 6 sons of his father. Bhrigu. When Brahmaji was performing a great sacrifice on behalf of Varuna, Maharishi Bhrigu was born from the sacrificial fire. He was a great sage, and his very dear wife was Puloma. He could travel in space like Duvasa, Narada, and others, and he used to visit all the planets of the universe. Before the Battle of Kurukshetra, he tried to stop the battle. Sometimes he instructed Bharadwaj Muni about astronomical evolution, and he is the author of the great Bhrigu Samhita, the great astrological calculation. He explained how air, fire, water, earth are generated from ether. He explained how the air in the stomach works and regulates the intestines. As a great philosopher, he logically established the eternity of the living entity, Mahabharata. He was also a great anthropologist, and the theory of evolution was long ago explained by him. He was a scientific propounder of the 4 divisions of the order of human society known as the Varnashram institution. He converted the Kshatriya king Vitahavya into a Brahmana. For Vasistha, Prabhupada referred to a previous scenario like this when Bhishmadev left the body, which is in SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM 196, referral. You can read that up. And Parasara is the grandson of Vasistha Muni and father of Vyasadeva. He is the son of Maharishi Shakti, and his mother's name was Adrisyati. He was in the womb of his mother when he was only 12 years old, and from within the womb of his mother, he learned the Vedas. This is not new. Prahlad did, and Abhimanyu also. His father was killed by a demon. Kalmasapada, and to avenge this, he wanted to annihilate the whole world. He was restrained, however, by his grandfather Vasistha. He then performed a Rakshasa killing yagya, but Maharishi Pulasya restrained him. He begot Vyasadeva, being attracted by Satyavati, who was to become the wife of Maharaj Santanu. By the blessings of Parasara, Satyavati became pregnant for miles. He was present also during the time of Bhishma's death. He was the spiritual master of Maharaj Chanaka and a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He is the author of many Vedic scriptures and sociological directions. Gadi Sutta, or Vishwamrita, a great sage of austerity and mystic power, is famous as Gadi Sutta because his father was Gadi, a powerful king of the province of Kanya Bhuja, part of the Uttar Pradesh. Although he was a Kshatriya by birth, he became a Brahmana in the very same body by the power of his spiritual achievements. He picked a quarrel with Vasistha Muni when he was a Kshatriya king and performed a great sacrifice in cooperation with Ganga Muni, and thus was able to vanquish the sons of Vasistha. He became a great yogi, and yet he failed to check his senses and thus was obliged to become the father of Sakuntala, the beauty queen of world history. Once he was a Kshatriya king, he visited the hermitage of Vasistha Muni, and he was given a royal reception. Vishwamrita wanted from Vasistha a cow named Nandini, and the Muni refused to deliver it. Vasistha stole the cow, and thus there was a quarrel between the sage and the king. Vishwamrita was defeated by the spiritual strength of Vasistha, and thus the king decided to become a Brahmana. Before becoming a Brahmana, he underwent severe austerity on the bank of the Kosika. He was also one who tried to stop the Kurukshetra war. Angira is one of the 6 mental sons of Brahma and the father of Brihaspati, the great learned priest of the demigods in the heavenly planets. He was born of the semen of Brahmaji, given to a cinder of fire. Uttaya and Samvata are his sons. It is said that he is still performing austerity and chanting the holy name of the Lord at a place known as Alokananda on the bank of the Ganges. Parasaramuni, referral again, 196, the disappearance of Bhishmadev. Uttaya, one of the three sons of Maharishi Angira. He was the spiritual master of Maharaj Mandata. He married Bhadra, the daughter of Soma Moon. Varuna kidnapped his wife Bhadra, and to retaliate the offense of the god of water, he drank all the water of the world. Medatiti, an old sage of yore, an assembly member of the heavenly king Indra. His son was Kanva Muni, who brought up Sakuntala in the forest. He was promoted to the heavenly planets by strictly following the principles of retired life, Vanaprastha. Devala, a great authority like Narad Muni and Vyasadeva. His good name is on the list of authorities mentioned in Bhagavad Gita when Arjuna acknowledged Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He met Maharaj Yudhishthira as far after the Battle of Kurukshetra, and he was the elder brother of Domya, the priest of the Pandava family. Like the Kshatriya, he also followed his daughter to select her own husband in a Swamvara meeting. And at that ceremony, all the bachelor sons of rishis were invited. According to some, he is not Asita Devala. Bharadwaj, SRIMAD Bhagavatam 196, referral. Gautama, one of the 7 great sages of the universe. Saradwan Gautama was one of his sons. Persons in Gautama Gotra dynasty today are either his family descendants or in his disciplic succession. The Brahmanas who profess Gautama Gotra are generally family descendants, and the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas who profess Gautama Gotra are all in the line of his disciplic succession. He was the husband of famous Ahalya, who turned into stone when Indradev, the king of heaven, molested her. Ahalya was delivered by Lord Ramachandra. Gautama was the grandfather of Kripacharya, one of the heroes of the Battle of Kurukshetra. Maitreya, a great rishi of yore, he was the spiritual master of Vidur and a great religious authority. He advised Dhritarashtra to keep good relation with the Pandavas. Duryodhana disagreed, and thus was caused by him. He met Vyasadeva and had religious discourses with him. Mukankaroti vachalam, pangam langayate girim, ya kripata mahamande, Shri Guru Dinatarinam, ya kripata mahamande, Paramananda Madhava, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nishwara. So before I try to make any utterance so as this text is concerned, I like to beg for blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas, that I may be able to do diligence to this service and get purified for my own purification and for the benefit of the audience. Hare Krishna. So these 2 texts we are reading in the heart of this chapter is a very, very significant text, and it has so many sides to it, so many sides. But one very interesting thing that is in this text is that Maharaj Parikshit submit himself to the assembled sages. And so Maharaj Parikshit in text 7 was said to have taken the vow of sages. He took vow of sages, and that has attracted sages to converge. Like attracts like. And you can see in the time of Bhishmadev equally, when Bhishmadev was about to get Satyavati for his father, he went to the fisherman and took also ferocious vow of celibacy. On pronouncing that vow, the demigods in heaven shouted, Bhishma. That's how the name Bhishma came. Otherwise, he was Devavrata before the vow. When they shouted Bhishma, they showered flower on him. So when Parikshit Maharaj also now took the vow of sages, the news went round. And in all the circles of the universe, very exalted sages started converging. This is the center point of our discourse today. Coming together of sages. For sages to come together, it is the same thing that we are trying to practice in our devotional life. Why? The whole philosophy and knowledge of Sambandha Gyan, you are not this body, you are spirit, so it is, all culminate in practice. And practice is never done alone. You don't practice on your own, but you practice in association of devotees. So at the beginning of the heart of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna clearly mentioned in text 10, chapter 9, he said, Machita, Magata Pranam, Bodhayanta Parasparam, Katayanta Shamam Nitya, Tusyanticha, Ramandicha, that the thoughts of my devotee always dwell on me, and their lives are dedicated to my service. And they derive great satisfaction, this is the point, and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So the gathering of these sages is not for frivolity, it has objectivity. They are gathered to do exactly what this Abhideya process, because in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Madhya Lila, chapter 22, is called the process of devotional service. When he mentioned Sadhu Sangha, Sava Sastra Kai, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sava Siddhi Hoy. That the verdict of all revealed scripture is that by even a moment association with a pure devotee, one can attain all success. As it is, Parikshit Maharaj is embarking on a project that requires to be achieved, and he needs the support of all that could aid him to be able to achieve this. So these sages, they have gathered here from different planets of the universe with the plea, the intention that they are going on pilgrimage. Because always the sages are going on pilgrimage. Okay? And so they came there, but they had the notion, they had the understanding that SRIMAD Bhagavatam will be spoken by Sukadev Goswami. So that was the attractive future of this convergence. They gathered together, and you can see that I corroborate with the word in that text 9, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from enlightening one another and conversing about me. So this is the object of their gathering, but then it may happen in a peculiar way, but the essence is that they came to render some support. And you can see that similar scenes like this have taken place in the past. Like we're reading the purport, and Prabhupada was making reference to First Canto, chapter 9, when Bhishmadev was dispatching or departing the planet. All these great sages also, they gathered. And they were instrument to his being able to be focused and then be able to activate the fact that this is the goal of his life and he has to achieve it. And he achieved it. In this forum also, at the end, Maharaj Parikshit also achieved the goal of his setting out to go to the bank of the Ganges. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam also, we saw that the sages, they converted, the sages of Nemi Saranya, they came together. And the purpose of coming together was to find out about welfare, not only for themselves, for humanity at large. And this same thing is what is reoccurring here now. So the lesson to learn from this, Parikshit Maharaj took the vow. They didn't take vow with him. But it is obvious that if you take one broomstick, it can easily be broken. But when you take a bunch of broomsticks, you cannot break it. So in the assembly of devotees is where perfection comes. So he said that it is only in the assembly of sadhus that the seed of perfection is planted. Lava matra sadhu sangha, sava siddhi hoy. Siddhi means perfection. It is in the assembly of sages. And you can see all the sages gathered here. They are not human. They are people of substance in the hierarchy of the management of the universe. Everybody playing his own role, but you can see that they are coming together. Definitely is going to produce very tumultuous, successful results. And so that is what to learn from this, because it's our process, and we are doing the same thing. We are coming together in different forms or different reasons during different festivals and certain things. But the mood of this coming, the objective of this coming together, we also need to imbibe and be able to benefit ourselves and benefit others who converge with us. So you can see that in the 5th canto of SRIMAD Bhagavatam, Narad Muni was telling Vyasadeva when he commissioned him to compile Bhagavatam. And he mentioned these salient things which we can relate to this assemblage. He said, those words which do not describe na yad vacha chitra padam hariyaso jaga vitram parikna kachit tad vasayam titam usanti manasa ya na ya tarhamsa irama usik saya. Those who do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the world, are considered by saintly persons to be like unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. So this is not a gathering of crows, it's a gathering of swans. And he ended that text by saying, since all perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. They do not derive any pleasure there. If you take this and you place it on the first Psalm of David, where he said, blessed is the man who sitteth not in the seat of the scornful, nor walketh in the counsel of the ungodly. You see, but his delight is in the Lord of God, and he therein meditates day in, day out. He situates him. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bear fruit in due season. His leaves never wither, and whatever he lays his hand to do shall prosper. So whatever is done in the assembly of crows is garbage eating. But in the next text, Narad Muni concluded by saying, on the other hand, Tad vag visago jaganata viplavo yasmin pratislo kabadaya tiapi nayamanyananta ya swankitaniyat sivanti gayanti grinanti sadava. On the other hand, the literature which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of name, fame, form, pastimes, etc. of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a different creation. So the association of saintly devotees is a different scenario. It is not what you see in garbage crow gathering, but this is swan-like. So he said it's a different creation full of transcendental words directed towards bringing about a revolution in the impulse life of the world with directed civilization. Such transcendentalists or such transcendental literature, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men. This is it, purified men who are thoroughly honest. So our own application should be to strive for these qualities, become purified, and then be able to benefit from these gatherings. So when we gather, we should not gather to do the same old things we do in secular society that has created so many depression, compression, suppressions in our life. But we are here to emancipate ourselves. And so we should do the maximum that is required in helping ourselves. That is why he mentioned in that 1:2:18, Nasta prayer swabradesu, Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya, Bhagavate Utamas Loke, Bhakti Bhavati Nasiki. By constantly hearing SRIMAD Bhagavatam and rendering service to those great sages, all that is complicated in the heart is destroyed. So all the mohas, all the lobas, they are destroyed just by the service of Bhagavatam. And so these sages are teaching us by example, like he said in 321, Yadyad acharati sresha, tatat eva tarojana. Whatever a great man does, common man will follow. So the expectation is we should be able to follow this kind of setting and be able also to benefit ourselves and get the benefit of perfections. Savasiddhi hoy. But when we gather and we don't achieve this result, then what is the benefit of such gathering? This is what we learn. And then attraction for hearing is one major thing that gathered these sages. They came together because they have heard. It's not that they're about to hear for the first time. But I remember when my Bhaktidra Damodar Maharaj was giving class and he mentioned, the last speaking time he spoke, he mentioned that the queens of Krishna, after Krishna's departure, were feeling very, very depressed, feeling heavy separation. But one of the queens, which is, what is her name? Kalindi. Kalindi was always joyful, cheerful, gaiety. And then they approached her and said, you are not looking like us. You are not feeling like us. What is the secret of your liveliness? And she told them, you people are demoralized and feeling rejected because you will find yourself in a fit of separation from Krishna. But I am not, because I'm always absorbed in meditating on the activities, the form and pastimes of my husband. So they now ask her, how can we do this? How can we follow the same practice? And he said, you go to the king and then he will guide you on how to do it. When they got to the king, king said, you invite Uddhava and he will speak about Krishna's pastime to you. That will give you life again. So they will now say, how can we get Uddhava? We don't know where to find Uddhava. He said, you just go to Vrindavan, do serious kirtan, and Uddhava will manifest. Just from kirtan, Uddhava will manifest. And then they did that. Uddhava came, and Uddhava was about to speak SRIMAD Bhagavatam to them. And Parikshit Maharaj was eager to participate in that assembly. For Parikshit Maharaj, Uddhava told Parikshit Maharaj, you go. You are not the candidate for this forum. This forum is only for gopis. It's Gopi Bhagavatam. Your own Bhagavatam will be for the whole world when it will be spoken. So you go for now. And Parikshit was pacified and he exit. So you can see now that the scenario, the setting here is a proof that it's for the whole world, because sages are coming from different parts of the universe, not from planets, different parts of the universe. And even the speaker himself is on his way coming. And his arrival will be another mind-boggling scene, because it's the type you've never seen before. And that one unique thing I admire in the picture that represents the speaking of Bhagavatam. The person speaking Bhagavatam is stark naked. The person hearing Bhagavatam is also stark naked, means that you have to be in this world, but not of the world. You have to be naked to the world. So Sukadev came like that. But if you still want to enjoy the world, the gopis were told, if you still want to enjoy this material world, family and relation, please don't go to the bank of the Yamuna, because that little boy playing flute, he will steal your heart and you forget that you have this kind of intentions. So the same thing, Bhagavatam. He said by hearing SRIMAD Bhagavatam, one develops costless knowledge and detachment. By hearing Bhagavatam attentively, you develop knowledge. So the three things that you get by associating with SRIMAD Bhagavatam is that you get knowledge. What knowledge? You get knowledge of Krishna. You get knowledge of material nature. You get knowledge of the soul, and you get knowledge of their interaction. You get this knowledge. Then you will get detachment. It comes automatically. This is automatic. So when that has happened, you have knowledge and you have detachment. What happens? He says in the second text of SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM that by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within the heart. These are three things: knowledge, detachment, and establishment of Krishna within the heart. And once Krishna is established within the heart, all the material experiences are vanquished, will now get absorbed. Like Krishna demanded, always engage your mind in thinking about me, become my devotee, offer your homage, worship me. You become absorbed in me, then you will come to me. This is a sequence. And if we properly apply, we'll get it. But the same we are having here is a template that if we closely look at it and we digest it and apply it, it is guaranteed. Like he said, nastiki. Bhakti bhavati nastiki. Devotion will definitely take place as an irrevocable fact. So Krishna in the heart is not a new product that you are going to get somewhere. Love of God is not an external thing. It's inside us already, but it's lying dormant. And we have to reawaken it. That's what Prabhupada said, that Krishna consciousness of love of God, it's integral part of every jiva. That it only has to be given the facility or the enabling environment to be able to reawaken it by the process of hearing and chanting. That's why when we gather and we speak nonsense, it becomes a place of pilgrimage for crows. And simply people don't take delight there. But when we gather and we are discussing about Krishna, then we are doing the Abhideya or devotional service, which is the beginning of, or the heart of the Gita, where Krishna said, the thought of my devotee. That's what the devotees practice. So this is the lesson we have to learn from this ambience, that in practicing our devotion, we should not be islanders. We should not isolate ourselves thinking all is well with us. It is a support process. It's a support system. And if we make ourselves available to support, then we also get supported. And then collectively make advancement. The sages, they all derive great pleasure by hearing Sukadev Goswami speak SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, and Parikshit Maharaj was able to absorb his mind and achieve the goal of the vow he took, and was able to go back home, back to Godhead. And even before the Tatsaka bird, the bird snake that will come and bite him arrived, Parikshit had already gone because of the power of the association that was around him. So the same way, it doesn't matter what our situation is, what we are going through, if we create this kind of ambience or environment, and we submit ourselves, like said, Parikshit submit himself to the sages, we submit ourselves. It is lack of willingness to submit that is part of the complications that we have. We don't want to submit, and so we don't flow with the environment or the situation. And what happens? We don't gain, and others don't gain by such association. But when Krishna said in Gita, they derive great satisfaction and bliss by always encouraging each other, enlightening one another, and they're conversing about me. So if we don't create such atmosphere, you see that the proper qualification for speaking and hearing will not be enabled. Yes, the sages gather, we also gather different people with different thoughts and different orientation. You can see these sages gathered here. They were not like straitjacket people. Even when Parikshit Maharaj presented his plight to them, there were different suggestions made to him by different sages, different suggestions. But they tarried until when Sukadev Goswami came. and they honor Sukadev, and then they gave him a seat of esteem, and then they subjected Parikshit to be able to make the necessary inquiries that benefited everybody. So that is the angle from which I'm perceiving this, and I'm understanding it. This is how I've also had this spoken, that we learn the lesson of cultivating the attitude, the right attitude, and the right mood for participating in devotional activities. In the 10th canto and 11, no, 10th chapter and 11 of the first canto, he mentioned how Krishna left Snapu and how he arrived Dwarka. And what was the mood of the inhabitants of the Dwarka? He said they gave up eating, they gave up sleeping, and they gave up recreation to go and meet the love of their hearts. So these same sages that I've gathered here are exhibiting the same traits. They left all their location, they left everything just to converge here to here. That should be our mood also. And that's what we are clamoring for on this platform. Oh, people should participate more in hearing SRIMAD Bhagavatam, the Hare Krishna Africa platform. But attendance has not been commensurate with that expectation. But by this kind of hearing, and by this kind of understanding, and by this kind of application, we'll cultivate that mood that every other thing can wait. We'll have to do this because this is ultimate good. When the sages asked Sutta Goswami, what have you concluded as the absolute and ultimate good for all humanity? Absolute and ultimate. It isn't say relative. Absolute for everybody also. So this Bhagavatam is the solution. Bhagavatam is the therapy, and Bhagavatam is the result. So we should culture this mood of the sages who left different destinations in the universe to converge here and give support and association to Parikshit Maharaj. And Parikshit Maharaj, because in the assembly of sages, seed of perfection is planted, he got the perfection that he desired, and his life was made perfect. So in the same way, we can practice our Krishna consciousness in this line by cultivating this mood of support, this mood of submitting ourselves, and this mood of giving priority to what is favorable. Those are the 6 principles of surrender: accepting what is favorable and rejecting what is unfavorable. It's not saying you should give up anything. You should do whatever you have to do, but the time for Bhagavatam should be time for Bhagavatam. The time for sadhana should be time for sadhana. And when this is done, we stand to gain. And he said, you will gain on all fronts, because Prabhupada said in one of the purport that spiritual advancement is automatically followed by material advancement. It's automated. But we have to seek first spiritual advancement, then our material well-being will automatically follow. So we are learning this from the stages, even though there are many stages that are gathered here. And if you follow the chronology, we may not live here today if we start narrating. But I like the protocol Prabhupada set up. Prabhupada just abridged it. Abridged it, say from Atri to Narada. Finish, nothing else. You want to find out more, please, you're on your own. Do that as a research. And then you get more information. 1 hour is not enough to deal with this, because it's how compounded the history background of most of these stages are. Somebody born from the mind, somebody born from semen that is discharged, somebody born from clay pot, all of this. When will you exhaust that? In this 1 hour or 45 minutes? So, but the interesting thing is that these personalities are extraordinary. If you want to really define them, these are God's generals. That's how they mention them in the church. The gathering of God's generals. And what happens when God's general come? Signs and wonders will be wrought there. Okay, that's what Chaitanya Charitamrita said, that the seed of perfection is planted here. So this should be our desire. This should be our chase. This should be our goal. And once this is done automatically, the reciprocal effect of prayojana will come. It will come because it's a sequence. Sambandha, knowledge, Abhideya, process, and prayojana. They culminate. So if we do it rightly, we'll get the right result. But if we do it wrongly, we cannot blame anybody. So this is what we are learning in this. And I would like to stop at this point in case there are comments, corrections, or chastisements and questions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, His Grace Ganga Prasad Prabhu. I mean, I can say that you spoke from your head, from your heart, but also it is an art, and I'm very much intrigued as to how you handled the text, because like I said, when I read over, I said, oh my God, I'm sorry for my big brother. But he is my big brother. He will find a way out. So thank you so much for such a delivery.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, devotees, if anyone has a question, please, you may indicate by using the hand emoji, or you use your natural hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question. Or if you have a comment, like Prabhuji said. Hare Krishna. Questions, comments?
Chastisements also.
No, chastisements is not allowed.
It's messy. Chastisement is messy.
Devotees are usually very quiet, you know.
It means the class was boring.
Yes. I mean, we have the Bhagavatam as we discussing today as a result of Q&A, right? So devotees should ask questions. Of course, we're not forcing anybody, but if you do. I'll start by calling names. It's, what's the name? Kavi Kanapur, do you have a question? What's the name? Shrimad Prabhu. I know you were busy yesterday. We lost the association yesterday. Ishwara Prabhu is here. We have Salika. I don't know Salika if he's here. Well, let me see.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hey, Salika, do you have something?
Sorry. I'm partly with you, I'm partly in another meeting. I'm here with 4 ears simultaneously. I don't want to miss Bhagavatam. At the same time, I'm bound to be in the other meeting. So please bear with me.
Hare Krishna.
Bravo.
Well, Prabhuji, if I may ask this, it's interesting that we're learning that different personalities from different parts of the universe came here in this meeting, because lots of the names mentioned were from different planets within the universe. Is it possible? No, do we still have such beings visiting our earthly planet? And if not, why?
Thank you very much for that question. And in the text of Papa we read, there is a Angira. Angira is one of the sages that is mentioned that it is said that he is still performing austerity and chanting the holy name of the Lord at the place known as Alokananda on the bank of the Ganges. So are they still there? Is answered. And the other side is even amongst ourselves. Who knows who is who? We only see the facial features, but we don't know the internal person that we have to deal with. And that's why in devotional dealing, we require to be very, very mindful. If we say Brahmananda Brahmeti Kona Bhagavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Bhai, Bhakti Lata Bij, that we have been wandering from millennium to millennium, lifetime after lifetime, planetary system to planetary system. When we get the good fortune of encountering a saintly person, the seed of devotion is planted in our heart, and we are taught how to nurture it. So all of us have not come by accident. You know, if there was like, you know what you do in the lab, a test to be able to declare this person is this age, that person is that stage, this person is that stage, then you see that we'll just be tiptoeing. We'll walk with extreme caution like Jad Bharat, that we will not even step on an insect or an ant. But we are oblivious of this, and so we don't know who is who. But the answer is that yes, there are still saintly persons in the universe, and they are still interacting. It's just like when we are singing Kiba Jayo. It says, Kiba Suka, Shiva Suka Narada, that in Ati, Shiva, Suka, and Narad, they come. And Prabhupada on many instances have confirmed that when the chanting was going on, Narad Muni came. So it's an ongoing process. I don't know if that gives leverage on the question.
Yes, it does. It does, but I'm just speculating, but I'm 95% sure of what I'm saying is that in my previous life, I was a worm. I was nobody, so nobody should really give me a mind. Kami Kanapu Prabhu, please unmute.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu, thank you very much. Prabhu, thank you very much for your wonderful lecture. And Prabhu mentioned about the importance of SRIMAD Bhagavatam, and also how he is encouraging everyone to come to this Hare Krishna Africa to listen to SRIMAD Bhagavatam. I think kind of a suggestion that maybe Prabhu, if the temple president can announce it to their congregation that there's a lecture going on every 4 p.m. every day, when they are coming back from their offices or whether they are in the office, they can listen to it. I think that will go a long way.
I think we lost him. He's driving. He's in a moving vehicle.
Mobile network.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think he has made a point.
But yes.
He has made a point, and it's part of the input that if the temple presidents circulate this, my own personal experiences, when I'm slated to give class, I post this to many of my close ties and acquaintances. I throw it on the network, I throw it on social media, and so it might increase the number of people who will participate. And also, share to those who are very close friend devotees. Along with what he said, the president should announce and then facilitate where it is possible. Like I remember once Kaduna Temple was given data facility because the whole temple devotees and the temple president, they come for the class. So it's in line with what he has just mentioned. If we increase it, to increase. Bhagavatam is the solution to everything. There's no way you can explain it better. But when you don't give attention to it, like they say in the church, once you don't give attention, it does not become your experience. You not experience it. It works.
Sorry, Prabhu, I miss out. I think my phone signed me out because it was too hot. I don't know what in the worry. I don't know whether you got my...
I got your point.
Yes, he did.
I got your point. You wanted to add something more?
I wanted to ask question. Yes, that one was just a suggestion that if the leaders try to help their followers, it's just like once in a while when Ganasha Prabhu comes around or he feel a little bit happy, he send his people, and you see them that they are in different places, some inside cars, some inside rooms, some moving around. So I'm believing also some of the devotees congregation we have also. they will be of the same caliber. So anybody can sign in, and also they're already devoted, so it'll be easier for them. So my question is that, Prabhu, this Srimad Bhagavatam, when the Parishit Maharaj came, he wanted to listen to Srimad, he wanted to absorb himself in Srimad Bhagavatam. All these sages, how did they get the information? And who called them?
Wonderful. Wonderful. Very good question. I like that.
CNN.
He said that the sages actually came to meet Maharaj Pariksit because they could foresee. That's the word. They could foresee. So if you are not seeing, you are not a sage.
That is it, Prabhu.
They could foresee that Srimad Bhagavatam will be spoken. It does not require social media. It does not require GSM. It does not require Facebook. No contact. They could foresee. And that foresee is the benediction that we can see that Vyasadeva himself, he was in Hastinapur in the palace, and he was able to foresee and tell Dhritarashtra what was going on in Kurukshetra. This is the type of power that sages of this caliber, they have. And it is a testimony or a proof that it is achievable, and we should work towards it. We should work towards it. He said that when somebody became an outstanding devotee dear to Krishna, Krishna blesses him with 3 kala gyan, knowledge of past, present, and the future. So it is open for everybody, but as you make your bed, so you lie on it. I'm very convinced that Pariksit Maharaj did not send any letter of invitation like we do during Janmashtami or Ramnami or anything. No, he did no memo. Just by taking vow, his vow attracted sages. In text 7, he said, he took the vow of sages. When what is his name? Bhishma took the vow, ferocious vow of celibacy. It was not announced on CNN, but the demigods were aware, and they showered flowers from the heavenly planets. So this is the mystery of what we are dealing with. But we have to make ourselves available to access it. You see the word here? He said, Maharaj Pariksit submits himself. He was not arrogant. He was down to it. Submit himself to the sages. So if we submit ourselves equally, we'll be recipients of the same experience. You can know what is happening from Abuja. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you for that question, Kavikanapur Prabhu. Ishwara Prabhu, please, you may unmute. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dandava Pranam, Guruji.
Great stage, the great stage Ganga.
Guruji.
Is it possible to turn on your, okay, good, your camera, yes.
Thank you for the darshan.
Some few comments. The question of, I think it was Sadi, what were you asking about if the sages, those sages of the bygone ages, if they are still around and where they are. There's one time when devotees, they organized a lecture for Prabhupada in some college. I think it was the USA or Europe somewhere. And just only a few people showed up. Maybe 4 or 5 people showed up to that lecture. It's supposed to be like organized lectures and all that. And so they went to apologize to Prabhupada that the Prabhupada, forgive us because only a few people showed up for this lecture. So Prabhupada replied, said, what do you mean a few people show up? Didn't you see the Nada Muni? Didn't you see this sage? So many sages were there. So how can you say only a few people showed up? You could not see them, but I saw them. So we may not be able to see that because of the sinful nature of Kali Yuga. we don't see these great personalities. They don't show themselves to the common sinful people of Kali Yuga, but they are there. They are there because they're always traveling all over the universe. As a matter of fact, Lord Krishna is maintaining the universe only because of these personalities. Otherwise, you think that Krishna is going to let this universe go on with all the rascals, all the sinful people? No. The Lord is allowing the universe to go on because there's always the presence of these great personalities. And they make the presence of the universe. That's the things is going on in this universe. Otherwise, the Lord have no reason just to keep it going. So so that's something. Of course, the more prefer we become, the more we'll be able to see all these personalities. Just like Prabhupada would say that it's never alone, because it's never alone. It's always the Guru Maharaj and all these great personalities. So the pure devotees are never alone. So to the extent of our purity, to that extent, we'll be able to see, all these personalities. And there's some other things to come to my mind. I kind of forgot. Anyway, this, as I was saying yesterday in the class yesterday, that this chapter and the next 2 or 3 chapters, these are very, very wonderful chapters of Bhagavatam, because it really gives us the essence of what Bhagavatam is in terms of, how Parishar Maharaj came to the back of the Ganges and all of a sudden the news went all over the universe, and all the great personalities all just came to be there with him, because they know Bhagavatam is going to be spoken. So therefore, whatever they all came and just to be with Parishar Maharaj, because Parishar Maharaj is the ideal person to hear Bhagavatam, and Sukadeva Goswami was the ideal person to speak the Bhagavatam. Yeah. And also, another thing we have to realize about Bhagavatam is that it's all about question and answers. Question and answer. Right from the beginning. There are 6 questions which were posted, which were asked by the sages at Namisaraya. There are 6 questions. And there are these 6 questions that Sutta Goswami was answering to. And then from this question, another question is good, So it's all about question and answer. And that's how we can know. That's how we can be able to understand. So therefore, it's always a very, very, actually that's one of the good things about the giving classes to the African devotees, because the African, they love to ask questions. When I give class here in India, I'll be lucky to even have 1 or 2 questions. People don't ask questions. You finish class, any question, everybody just keep quiet.
It's Prasadam time.
And the one you say, all great to the Prabhupada. And then some people will come to the lesson that, they're asking this question, that question. Why don't you ask questions during the class? Why you have to come ask the question after we already say, go to Srila Prabhupada, So,
anyway, actually, the asking of question condition is because of the moderation of Sahadeva Prabhu. So Sahadeva Prabhu is the one. Even though if there's nobody is asking questions, Sahadeva Prabhu must make sure that he asks, just to keep the flow. So we all glory to Sahadeva Prabhu.
No.
Everyone should be. It's actually good to be present at the class, because if you are present at the class, then you can ask questions. But most people, they turn their thing on, but they're not present at the class. They're not present. They don't pay attention. So how can they ask questions? Because most people, they have their attention somewhere else. The Bhagavatam involves presence. Bhagavatam involves actually being present there, because when you're present at Bhagavatam class, then you get the benefit. The Saji, they were hearing Bhagavatam for 7 days and 7 nights. No sleeping, no hunger, no thirst. because they were relishing the nectarian kata of Bhagavatam. They were there. So which means when we are going to Bhagavatam, we have to actually ask ourselves if we are there or not. Are we just there, or are we just waiting for the speaker to finish speaking so that we can go about our business? Or we actually interested in the subject matters of Bhagavatam? So to the extent that we're interested in the subject matter of Bhagavatam, is to that extent that we will get the benefit, we will get the mercy of Bhagavatam to that extent. Because Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna, as we said before. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. That is why you are there for me. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ishara Prabhu, for what you just shared and encouraged us to do. I think part of the reason why sometimes some people do not ask questions is, Ishara Prabhu, you gave class yesterday, and just a few seconds before we concluded, I applauded you, and I was saying that you are as tolerant as the tree, like Lord Chaitanya taught us to be, because we were asking so many questions, but you tolerated all. But there are other devotees who do not like to be questioned. And so if some devotees do not like to be questioned, especially like myself, if I know a devotee who doesn't like questions, I also make room for such a devotee. I wouldn't like to ask questions that much. But it is, like you said, it's very, very important that devotees ask questions. We have His Grace Srimad Prabhu stand up. Prabhu, you may unmute. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavapana, to our speaker, Ganga Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to all the assembled devotees. I just have something to pick with Ishwara Prabhu's statement. Ishwara Prabhu said that people log on, but they are not present. That's why they're not asking questions. But then the audience in his class in India, they're physically present. They're not logged on. They're physically present, but they don't ask questions. So I don't think that people don't ask questions because they log on and they're not present. I mean, I take objection to that statement. Maybe true, may not be true. But people ask questions when they feel inspired or they have some probing mind about what has been said. But to say that people logged on, I mean, the data is running. I was in Nigeria for some time, and I saw how difficult it was for many people to actually be able to log on because the data fly like this, Maybe if you're on Wi-Fi, it's easy. But when you have to buy data, it's actually not economic for many people. Once Vasudeva Prabhu gave class here, and he was saying that most of you people in this class, you must be well-to-do financially to be able to have the data for this every day. And I think it was actually saying something because I experience it when I'm out of my base, that if you don't have Wi-Fi, it's not easy for people to have the money to buy the data for 1 hour class or more. So please don't say that people who log on, they are not present. That would be a waste of data, a waste of time. If anyone does not think that the Bhagavatam class is important, they will not log on.
So Hare Krishna, there is don't take literally. When I say not be present means
I take it literally.
Cannot be
I took it literally.
Don't take literally. What I mean is that it's not. It has nothing to do with data or whatever. It's talking. It has to do with sitting in the class and not paying attention, not sitting there with heart, waiting for when the class is going to be over so they can go for prasada. That's what I mean by sitting.
This is not the type of class. where people are waiting for Prasad. This is a different type of class.
Anyway,
it's like we're paying for the Bhagavatam class by using data, unless you're using Wi-Fi somewhere. But you're paying, like you pay a ticket to come for the class. So if you pay a ticket to come to attend to a program, you just want to be there, right? So this is not the kind of class where you're waiting for Bhagavatam Prasadam at the end. No. Anyway, so it's just my comment.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Elderly Prabhus, if you allow me, I think you are both saying facts. You are stating facts.
Yeah.
Prabhu Ishwara, I learned from the institute. Many people register for Bhakti Sastri, Bhakti Bhaiva Teachers Training Day. So they are under obligation to be present in class, but they have other things to do. So they will just log on, put off their camera, and be doing what they are doing. So facilitators demand that you should put on your camera so they will know whether you are present or not. So this is there. But Vara Prabhu also has a point, because it's not everybody who has Wi-Fi access. So they have their chance. So those who are able to procure Wi-Fi, they value it, but some may have other engagement also that will make them be distracted.
Yeah.
But my input is that Kavichandra Maharaj said, for philosophy, study Prabhupada books. But for management, go and learn it in the churches. So you can see in the church, to address what Prabhupada just said, many cannot afford, but the church structure facilitates that they have satellite programs. You don't have to be in the church, like I say in Ota. They normally will troop the whole of Ota during Shiloh, but they are doing satellite Shiloh on satellite now. So many people, traffic is free. People watch it through satellite. So if the management system or the structure facilitates such, then people will go beyond, oh, I don't have data, I don't have Wi-Fi, I cannot come. So that is why I use the word support system. The sages, they did not come only because they know Bhagavatam. They came to support Parikshit Maharaj also. So our management system should be such that we also support them. This is the input that I can make, but both of you said reality. From my own experience, nobody had it in his own side. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, if someone doesn't really know how sweet Hare Krishna Africa is, we will kindly urge you to go taste mango juice. And that is how sweet Hare Krishna Africa is, with all these interactions. And even though it may appear like somebody does not understand, but it's all the nectar. Harichakra Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
No, sir, let it continue a little bit. I'll be right back.
A little engaged. Okay.
All right.
All right. So I think I heard Govinda. Govinda, would you have something to say? You were saying something and you were cut off. Well, Prabhuji, I want to say something about Shakuntala. You know, sometimes some people use Shakuntala as example to believing in Krishna, because Shakuntala was born in the forest, left in the forest, nobody cared for her, the birds were caring for her. And she happens to be like the most beautiful woman ever. Now, some people say that because she was not even cared for by anybody, but Krishna cared for her. So in that sense, why should devotees struggle to earn means? Just serve, and Krishna will take care. What do you say? What do you say to devotees who speak this way or who reason this way? Now, do not care. Krishna will take care. Just look at Shakuntala. I'm saying this because she's mentioned in the purport here.
Medatiti, an old sage of yore, an assembly member of Heavenly King Indra. His son was Kanva Muni. Kanva Muni brought up Shakuntala in the forest. He was promoted to the heavenly planet by strictly following the principles of retired life on a PRASAD. Yes, you are right. And your flip statement that some people say depend on Krishna, they are not wrong. But the thing is, Krishna does not say you should give up anything. In Gita, he says, everybody acts according to the nature he has acquired. So what can repression do? Krishna said this in Gita. So you can't stop people to act because they have that nature to do. But Krishna said in Gita 9:22, those who worship me with exclusive devotion, like these sages, their activity is exclusive. They gave up every other thing they assembled here. That's exclusivity. He said, for them, I carry what they lack. I preserve what they have. So, you know, it's not about imitating or forming. If you have not arrived to that level, don't deceive yourself. It's a thing you have to go gradually, step by step. No shunting, no jumping. Take it easy. Because in the end, Krishna rewards everybody. As they surrender, I will reward them. Krishna may not do exclusive reward, but he rewards everybody. So we cannot say those people who are saying give up everything and surrender to Krishna, they are right, but what is the quality of the audience? Do they have the wherewithal? Do they have that capacity, you know, to be able to function like that? So in preaching, there's what is called method. We must learn method of what we say to particular people. And you can see in Prabhupada's purport of 4.7, Prabhupada was mentioning that in each and every incarnation, he speaks as much as about religion as can be understood by particular people under their particular circumstance, but the mission is the same. I don't know if that gives leverage to your question.
Oh, yes, it does. Because, yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
It's just like in that purport also, he took it from SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM Canto 11, when he says that those who have surrendered, taken to this path in all respect, they owe no obligation to demigods, forefathers, ancestors, and this and this and this. Yes, but Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, who has taken to this path in all respect. If you have not taken to the path in all respect, what would you want magic to happen?
Yeah.
You are still indebted. But devotional service will defray those debts. It may not be automatic. I hope you get a lead from that.
Yes, I do.
Yes, devotional service has the potency to do, but we can't feign it.
Yeah.
You cannot feign it. He said, the Barishi Butatpa Nirinam Pritrinam, Nakin Karo Nayam Nirini Na Rajan, Sabat Maya Saranam Saranya, Gato Mukunda Parihatia Katam. Anyone who has taken to the lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all kinds of obligation, and has taken to the path in all seriousness, that is exclusivity, all seriousness, and has taken to the path, owes neither duties nor obligation to the demigods, sages, general living entity, family member, humanity, or forefather. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of God. So what if you have not done this? What should be your expectation? You want to use an ATM card?
Yeah, sir, I'm back.
Okay, please unmute. Yeah, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Ganga Prasad, Prabhu, thank you very much for your class. Yeah, about this issue about people not asking questions. Sometimes, personally, my realization about it is, Ishwara Prabhu, I mean, rightly said, and you also, Ganga Prasad, you also said that the whole Bhagavatam is questions and answers. So if we listen to Bhagavatam, I think we are also meant to also be inquiring for the speaker to clear our doubts. But what I realize that sometimes some people may even ask questions. It's not that they don't even understand that the subject matter, but this is something that is on YouTube, and people are listening. People are going to listen to it now. People will be listening in the future. So some people take it upon themselves to ask questions, like they put themselves in the position of like somebody who doesn't know much about Krishna consciousness, and they put questions across. And in that sense, if you answer and it's not like satisfying to the person, not to him as a person, but he is thinking that, assuming there's somebody out there who hears that answer, is the person going to be satisfied? So he tries to probe deeper. No, Prabhu, I'm not satisfied. I think you have to give more explanation. And what I realize, sometimes if you try to follow up your question with another question, try to probe deeper and deeper, then some people think that you are in like a challenging mood. And so it becomes something else. And when it happens like one or two to somebody, then the person begins to recoil into his or her shell. That, oh, just let me just listen. I don't want people to feel that I'm being like, what do you call it? Antagonistic and argumentative and all, trying to like challenge. You see, so I think we should also be, I mean, for the forum to be able to attract a lot of questions, we should also make sure that if someone is inquiring genuinely, then whatever it takes, we should be able to calm down and explain the thing, so that any other person who will be listening in the future might get benefit, because this is very important to us. I mean, whilst you are speaking today, if in 5 years to come, people listen to this lecture and they benefit from.
You're muted.
Yeah,
you're muted. You're muted.
Oh, I think it's internet connection. Well, I think we got what he was saying.
Yeah, he has a valid point, just like Prabhu Ishwara and Prabhu Varaha. They have points. These are valid points. And you see, in terms of critical thinking, there are a lot of factors to put in place, but the conclusive line of question and answer being the foundation of Bhagavatam, we cannot overrule it, because in that second text of Bhagavatam, Prabhupada was translating, by this culture of knowledge. That's only how you can know. It is a culture. So question will go on, answers will go on. But we are dealing in a situation where we either have time constraints or we have fluctuating climatic situation, like you were praising of Ishwara Prabhu yesterday. Actually, your question and answer took into midnight, late night in India.
Yeah.
So if it's somebody who is that sensitive and he wants to attend Mangalati, he may not be patient enough. And the questioner may not understand his own circumstance. So it requires mutual understanding, cooperation. But it's good that we are bearing all of this so we can share, digest, and be able to function in reciprocation to this. But it's very good. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Srimad Prabhu, you may unmute, please.
Yeah, you see, sometimes also it takes time to reflect on what the speaker has said. Unless while he's speaking, he picks your heart somewhere and you just thought, okay, no, this I have to. But sometimes you have to actually reflect deeply on what he was saying before you can ask question or before you want to, contribute something. So like right now, I'm just reflecting on some of the things Prabhu said, and I would like to make a question contribution maybe. I like your point, Prabhu, when you say that coming to Bhagavatam class is like giving support. So like giving support to one another because one cannot practice this alone, this Abhidheya process. So devotional service, we do it together. And the second point that the sages came to they came to the banks of Ganges because they knew that Bhagavatam was going to be spoken. But they also came to support Maharaj Parikshit. So that idea of them coming to support a dying man, they came to support a dying man. That makes sense. That really cuts through. It's like a natural phenomenon. It happens everywhere. We had one big person who died here, and because of its importance, I mean, it took me almost 2 days. What I will usually go and do officiate cremation, maybe 2 hours or so, and finish. I was there yesterday from 9 in the morning till 6 p.m. And the crowd, it's like the whole Lome was at the cemetery. It's just an influx, like flow. What do you say, flow? Like streams of river entering. Incredible. So that when you were speaking about people coming to give the support, to Mara Parisi was about to leave his body. So I could connect, that people were so much moved to come and give their support. Everyone said, I have to come and pay my last respect. I have to come and honor him, So I want to relate this to our subject. It is natural that somebody you appreciate is about leaving his body or has already left his body. You want to go there and give him support. Okay? And in this case, in the case of Mara Parishit, something else is also happening. It's also giving rise to the advent of Srimad Bhagavatam. So 2 important events. Now, when we are giving Srimad Bhagavatam discourse, the same condition does not exist. The Bhagavatam is being given just freely to those who want to hear. The condition under which Mara Parishit heard Srimad Bhagavatam isn't the same, well, if I'm right to say, isn't the same condition in which we are listening. So people might not, I could imagine what all those people who came to that funeral yesterday, I could imagine what everyone has given up just to be there. Thousands, I could say, of people. We could imagine what they all gave up just to be there. Okay, so we could understand the support given to a dying man. All right. Now, coming to Bhagavatam class, if you see it in the sense of coming to give support, I agree with you. But then there are other things that interfere. The fact that some people pick and choose whom they want to listen to. They don't see it like it's a service that is being rendered and I have to go and give. So they don't see it that way. There are some people, if it is not somebody they like, they won't be in this class. You understand? So I just want to relate it to ordinary day life. In principle, what you've said is correct. But in practice, when the conditions are not the same, it may not apply. So, sorry, I say it's a question and comment.
Answer.
You can,
Yes,
you can now.
thank you. Thank you. I like your angle of, thank you very much. I like your angle of presentation. It's not like flat notes, but you romance all the sides so that we can see, and it's all reality. Yes, people come for different reasons also. Even those crowd that you saw yesterday, it is not all of them that came to support. Everybody has his own mindset frame to do, and they came, and they added to the number. But when it comes to Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam is for everybody. Parikit Maharaj said, what is the duty of all mankind, especially those who are about to die? Is there anybody who will not die? Except those who are Shiranjivas or Nitya Siddhas. So the sages who came also is not because, oh, they came only exclusively to support, but to borrow a leaf. What should one do? He said, what should he hear? What should he chant? What should he remember? And what should he not do? So it's a forum for learning, but the truth is that we are not equally textured. We all don't understand this. That's why I said, when he asked that question, and I said, if you have not been seasoned like this, it cannot happen automatically. So Prabhu, I appreciate your point. It's very clear. It's not like when they are making theorems. They say ceteris paribus, all things being equal, the theory we hold. But if the things are not equal, then that will be the limitations of the theory. So you are right. So choosing people they like to hear is because they feel it must be a particular way. But if they have that in-depth understanding that Bhagavatam has a particular potency, like he said, those who have lost their vision due to the darkness, that dense darkness of Kali Yuga, will find light. If they come like that, then they will not select anybody because you are coming to, and associating with Bhagavatam is associating with Krishna. So now it comes to play our levels of realization. So I thank you, Prabhu. I like your angles of thought and presentation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So thank you all very much, Prabhujis, Matajis. It's been wonderful. This is Bhagavatam. This is our bread and butter, we will say, right? So, in fact, I am personally, I would say I've learned so much from you, Ganga Prasad Prabhu, about the art of speaking Bhagavatam, especially if it is dealing with this kind of different histories, because like you rightly said, if we wanted to speak on just one of the personalities mentioned, we're not going to live here today, you know. So I really appreciate the way you gave the Bhagavatam class.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anyone else with any comment, question, realization before we bring the class to a close? Well, yes, Ishara Prabhu. Thank you so much for being here, Ishara Prabhu. And like we said yesterday, pray very hard for some of us to visit you in Vrindavan. We mean it. Okay, Hare Krishna. So we're going to humbly request all the devotees to kindly unmute, and then we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our appreciation to our speaker, His Grace Ganga Prasad Prabhu. Jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
His Grace Ganga Prasad Prabhu ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai ho. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for blessing.